Good morning, dear students. Last time we have discussed about displacement reaction in metals. And that time we have studied that the more reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal from its salt solution. The more reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal from its salt solution. And it produces a respective salt, and that less reactive metal is released as free. Now today we will be discussing about displacement reaction in non-metals. So there are few non-metals which shows displacement reaction. Like these are the members of halogen series, like we call them as halides: fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. So if you see these four, you will find that fluorine is highly reactive non-metals, or it is more reactive than the rest of the things, and iodine is the least reactive non-metal. So if we will make these more reactive non-metals react with the compounds of less reactive metal, what type of reaction will take place, that we are going to understand today. So here I have taken potassium bromide, and it is made to react with chlorine. When it will react with chlorine, it will produce potassium chloride, and the bromine will be released free, or it will be made free. Why bromine is displaced by this chlorine? The reason is, in this reactivity series you can clearly see chlorine is placed above bromine. So that means chlorine is more reactive than bromine. So chlorine will displace this bromide and it will produce potassium chloride and bromine. Second reaction I have taken potassium iodide and combined it, or made to react it with chlorine. Then it has produced potassium chloride and iodine. Again the reason is same. Chlorine is more reactive than iodine. You see the position of chlorine and the position of iodine, you can understand that chlorine is more reactive than iodine. So it has displaced iodine from potassium iodide, and it has produced potassium chloride and iodine. This is about the displacement reaction in case of non-metals. So here we have learned the different chemical properties of metals and non-metals. What are those properties of metals and non-metals which we have studied in this chapter? Let us revise them. Just now we have discussed the chemical properties of metals as well as non-metals. So let us summarize them, what we have learned in these chemical properties of metals and non-metals. First, let us discuss about metals. Metals, they react with oxygen to form basic oxides. And we have already discussed how to find out whether the produced oxide is acidic or basic, and we have also performed the lab activity, if you remember. So metals, when they react with oxygen, they form basic oxide. The rate of reaction varies depending upon the reactivity of the metal. As far as non-metals are concerned, non-metals also react with oxygen, but they form acidic oxides. What they form? Acidic oxides. Second property, that is the metals reaction with water. So the more reactive metals or active metals, they are able to displace hydrogen from cold water. And the less reactive metals, they are not able to do so. Whereas non-metals, do not displace hydrogen from water, so they do not react with water. We can say like that. Third difference between metals and non-metals is metals react with dilute acids and displaces hydrogen from the dilute mineral acids. That means the reactive metal, it is able to displace hydrogen from the mineral acid and it will produce the respective salt and hydrogen gas. How to identify that the produced gas is hydrogen gas? Yes, we will perform the burning matchstick test. When you will take a burning matchstick near the mouth of the test tube which contains this hydrogen gas, you will find that the gas burns with a pop sound. That is an indication that it has produced hydrogen gas. Right, children? Then, what about non-metals? So, non-metals, they do not displace hydrogen from dilute mineral acids. That means they do not react with dilute acids. Clear? Now, the fourth difference, that is metals reaction with alkali. So, in that case also you will find the more reactive metal will displace hydrogen and it will produce this salt and hydrogen gas will be released free. That means metals react with alkalis. But as far as non-metals are concerned, few of them they react with alkalis and the reactions are complicated, but they do not displace hydrogen. Is that clear? Yes. The last chemical property, that is displacement reaction. So metals displace the other metal depending upon the reactivity. The metal which is more reactive will displace the less reactive metal from its salt solution and it will produce the respective salt and the less reactive metal will be made free. As far as non-metals are concerned, you will find that very few of non-metals they displace each other depending upon the reactivity. Just now we have seen that chlorine has displaced bromine and iodine. Why it has displaced, that reason also I have explained. So children, you need to learn this table. Similar to this, we have also discussed the differences between metals and non-metals on the basis of their physical properties. So metals and non-metals, they are different from each other on the basis of their physical properties and chemical properties. Clear? I hope you have understood this topic, that is the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. And if you have any queries or any doubts, you can ask me in our next class. Thank you.